our weekly Shamanic Journey. As you know, we went through a lunar eclipse this past week, and a lot of people, including myself, are sensitive to the energies that are created in the universe, right? Both astrologically, if we're aware of that, or if we're not aware of that. But if we tune into what we feel and the sensitivities, heightened sensitivities that exist are, sometimes palpable for many people, and I included. And there are other people that will walk around and not recognize the fact that what we're feeling can be what we generally feel, but it can be influenced, right, by the planetary action that exists. On a simple note, right, when we have a full moon, right, the tides are affected, and our water balance in the body also shifts to some extent. And of course, there's so much information out there astrologically that it wouldn't pay for me to expand upon any of the things that other people are more experts on. But for the simple fact of understanding the eclipse season and recognizing that what we're going to be experiencing on April 8th will be a solar eclipse, right? And as we look up into the sky and we recognize that when the moon eclipses the sun, right, this means that when the moon is orbiting the earth, it comes in between the sun and the earth, and it's blocking the sun's rays hitting us. And so it's preventing sunlight from reaching the realm of our earth. And it holds a profound significance for us as portals of transformation and renewal. Whether we're aware of it or not, our energy can definitely be largely affected, as I said before, by what's happening in the cosmos. And on a simpler level, if we look at the sun as the rays shining upon us and giving us, right, it gives us light, it gives us energy, it gives us heat, it gives us warmth. And when the moon gets in between the energy of the sun, it's blocking or reflecting its energies back to the sun itself and not reaching us. In terms of understanding what this means in our lives, in terms of transformation, it almost becomes a doorway to like a significant life change for us, like an offering, an opportunity to like reset and think and start afresh. So the blocking of the sun is like a symbol of light and clarity, which involves our own going inward, like our own introspection, and it encourages us as individuals, right, to look inward, to reassess our path, and to make substantial changes. Or if we're not going to make the changes, then the universe will certainly set things forward for us. On another level, we can look at the sun as the giver, and the moon as the receiver, right? It receives the sun's rays and reflects them. And in this time, when the sun's rays are being blocked, we can look within our own lives as if the sun is the giver and the moon is the receiver. And so in our lives, maybe we can use the solar eclipse as a time where we need to receive more than be able to give. Sometimes we become uncomfortable in the sense of receiving because we want to be in control. And when we receive, we have to let down our guard. We have to almost forgive. It depends who we're receiving from. But the act of receiving is a sense of submission to some people. And if we look at it, that information that comes through to us is also a form of receiving. The universe is constantly sending, and being open to the reception of this new information is very important for us. And so this is a time also where the sun loses its power, or who's in power loses its power, and is blocked by the darkness, right? Or blocked by the reflection that reflects back to the power. So perhaps in our environment, in our universe, the power that is shining upon us is going to be reflected back to the power that exists. And if we use that in an interpretation, either in a political sense or in a spiritual sense, but in a sense of shining the light back on to those in power, right? And giving the sense of a mirrored image back to what's been taking place. And also for us to be able to receive again, right? For us to absorb, to take in. And so it only lasts a couple of minutes, but it's a very potent and powerful aspect of the astrological cosmos. The important aspect is for us, if we're not interested in any of this, is to just generally be aware that our emotions are our emotions, but they can be heightened by external factors, right? And so it's important for us to keep in tune to the fact that we can be triggered or influenced by extraneous energies. And those extraneous energies are for us to first recognize where we're in imbalance, where we're feeling a little cranky, where we're feeling a little agitated as it relates to relationships with other people, as it relates to our own personal growth, to where we're having a difficult time. And when the eclipse comes, right, we need to be aware of the heightened extension of those emotions and not allow us to react to the energies that we may feel. Instead, it's important, as the solar eclipse reminds us, to go inward, to have introspection, to go in and face our own shadows, right, that will be cast, that we won't be able to understand. And so it's an important time of our life. This month of April will be very combustionable. It'll be up and down, and important for us, again, to take responsibility for our own autonomy and not to get triggered. And if we are triggered, to recognize the fact of what's ours and what is being created in a more dramatic sense from the energies around us. So what I'd like to do today is I'd like to drum for your transformation, right? To see what things are going on in your life now, but you'll go introspectively and come to that conclusion and recognize what could be triggered within that energy itself, within those conflicts, within those relationships, within that, that drive or feeling of where we're at in this time in life. All right, so what I'll do is I'll take us on a guided journey, and we will journey to transformation during the solar eclipse, and we'll see what information comes. And along with that, I guess you can ask the question of what will trigger you, what could trigger you and make things more explosive within you. All right, so what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to take a deep breath in. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Take one more deep breath in. Close your eyes and let's go on our journey. We're walking into the forest. It's a very dense forest with a very, very narrow path. It's a pine forest. And this path twists and turns along the way. And while it seems exciting, we don't know where it takes us. As we walk further into the forest, it becomes more dense. But we relax and open up to the energies. We take a deep breath in. Smell the forest air, the pines, the leaves. And if we listen carefully, we hear the birds in the back chirping. surrounded by the forest from above. The tall trees stand high above us. We walk on this path. Which exposes the sunlight on our body. And as we walk, we turn right. And as we walk, we're met with another forest area. More trees with tiny bushes on the path. Up ahead is an opening in the ground. No different than any of the other caves we've walked into. We walk into that little opening. And the light shines through. And we walk towards the light. Come out the other side, you look around and see where you are. To the right of you is an animal. He looks at you, or she looks at you. And you ask the question, as we discussed. back out to the other side. And as you walk out, you follow the path in the ravine. The sun is shining on you. And you see the entrance to where you first came in, and you turn left. And go up the slight embankment back into the forest. And you follow this trail back onto the winding path. You follow the twists and turns that brings you back to where you started. To the left is a large oak tree. You put your hands on this tree and allow the energies to blend with the tree. You thank the tree and continue out of the forest. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Take one more deep breath in and exhale. Move your fingers, move your toes, move your shoulders. And when you're ready to come back into the room and open your eyes, please do. Okay, so the eclipse, solar eclipse coming up on April 8th, as I mentioned before, is an opportunity for us to, look back into some of the significant life changes, which is going to give us an opportunity to reset and rethink. As the moon blocks the sun's rays, we can also look in our life and see what's blocking us from shining, right? What aspects of ourselves are we presenting that are creating this blockage, right? And in essence, basically the moon is then doing something that it normally doesn't do, which means it's actually reflecting the sun's rays back to the sun itself. And so it gives the sun a taste of its medicine in terms of reflecting back the sun, the rays, the power back to itself. And in turn, the moon is absorbing or receiving. So what it also teaches us is how can we better receive things in life? How can we look at our lives and be more open and receptive to receiving? And so as I mentioned before, the eclipse is only for about 4 minutes, but it lasts days before, it lasts days after, and it lasts months to come. And while I'm not an astrologer, I do know, as I mentioned before, it's important for us to keep in mind what we're feeling during that particular moment, or those days before and days thereafter, so that we can recognize how we are triggered by the energy from this particular event or this type of energy that exists. So we want to be, in tune with ourselves so as not to overreact in situations and not make things worse or bigger than they need to be. And it's important for us to check ourselves and to be in charge of ourselves, and again, to know prior to the eclipse itself what we're feeling, what conflicts are going on, what issues we're having with ourselves, with others, and not allow it to spill over. All right, so I want to thank you for joining me, and I hope you have a great week. You can catch some of my shorts that are on my YouTube channel. Some of the people that I've interviewed, which are very interesting. Alien abductions, paranormal activity that exists with different people and their contacts that they make. And for the rest of everybody else, I hope you have a great week, and Enjoy.